Nature seems to have an unspoken rule. Life in the oceans and seas is often far scarier than anything on land. This has been the case throughout history, and even in the age of dinosaurs, aquatic creatures were often more terrifying than land predators like the T-Rex or dromaeosaurs. In fact, it's tough to find a point in Earth's history when survival was safer in the water than on land. However, there was a brief moment, long before the dinosaurs, when the oceans provided a better chance for survival. During this time, nearly everything above water, including the land itself, seemed designed for maximum danger. This period, known as the Lopingian epoch, occurred between 259 and 254 million years ago, marking the end of the Permian period. During this time, Earth looked completely different in many aspects, including the very nature of time. The moon was closer to Earth, which caused days to be only about 22 hours long. The geography was also drastically different. Most of the Earth's landmass was consolidated into the supercontinent Pangaea, which brought together regions like Africa, the Americas, Antarctica, India, Australia, and parts of Europe. Only in the east did you find land masses that were not connected to Pangaea, with the largest island being present-day Siberia, Kazakhstan, and North China. South of this, you would have encountered another island that includes present-day South China and parts of Southeast Asia. At this point, the Mediterranean was surrounded by vast oceans, the Tethys Ocean to the east, and the Paleotethys on the other. These were immense, but nothing compared to the superocean that stretched westward from Pangaea. Panthalassa. This ancient ocean covered over 60% of the Earth's surface, twice the size of the modern Pacific Ocean. Just the thought of an ocean that large would likely send chills down your spine, and rightfully so. However, despite its enormous size, Panthalassa and other oceans of the time were quite tame in terms of dangerous marine life. There were sharks, of course, having evolved 200 million years earlier, and one of the most iconic of these is the helicoprion, a giant shark about 8 meters, 26 feet long, with a jaw full of strange, whorl-shaped teeth. Despite its intimidating appearance, the helicoprion was already extinct by the time the Lopingian epoch began. There were still some of its relatives around, but none that were quite as large. Most were about 2 meters, 6.5 feet long, not much more dangerous than modern leopard sharks. These sharks primarily preyed on soft-bodied animals like squids, rather than large armored prey. Additionally, the oceans were home to other creatures like the eurypterids, massive arthropods. Though they weren't doing so well, the Capetanian extinction event 2 million years prior had decimated marine life, and even the more resilient groups like trilobites and ammonoids were scarce and small. While marine life struggled, things on land were just as harsh. Unlike the oceans, life on land was much more perilous, as the Capetanian extinction had wiped out many species and paved the way for new, often larger, predators. This led to the rise of the gorgonopsids, terrifying saber-toothed creatures that could easily overpower most of their prey. These predators weren't mammals but were therapsids, more closely related to mammals than reptiles. They appeared during the Middle Permian period and reached their peak in the Late Permian, with the largest species growing up to 3.5 meters, 11 feet, long and weighing over 450 kilograms, 1,000 pounds. The Inostrancevia was one of the largest of the gorgonopsids, a formidable hunter with razor-sharp teeth and muscular limbs that made it a fast and efficient predator. It was capable of pursuing large herbivores and dealing massive damage with its serrated teeth. The Rubidia, another giant from South Africa, was just as deadly, with a robust build and powerful skull. These apex predators were not only effective at hunting, but they also dominated entire ecosystems, leaving smaller herbivores with little chance of survival. Alongside these mighty predators were other terrifying species like the Theocidonts, which could have been venomous, and the Protosuchids, croc-like creatures that were semi-aquatic or terrestrial hunters. Despite their dominance, gorgonopsids and their kin weren't alone in the late Permian. The Mosquirhinus, a carnivorous creature with a jaguar-sized head, was just as deadly, and its razor-sharp teeth were designed for grabbing and holding on to prey. Life on land was truly nightmarish during this period, with new and deadly creatures at every turn. But the oceans remained a safer haven, as the marine life was far less hostile in comparison. The late Permian was full of massive predators on land, but the sky was mostly free from the terrifying creatures that would come in later periods. Still, the true danger of this period came from the Earth itself. The climate was scorching, with temperatures averaging 35 degrees Celsius, 95 degrees Fahrenheit, making large sections of land uninhabitable. Deserts stretched across the equator, and severe droughts swept across the land. If you survived these conditions, you were lucky. But soon, even this would change with the Great Dying, the largest extinction event in Earth's history. Caused by massive volcanic eruptions in Siberia, the event resulted in temperatures rising to levels similar to the hottest months in Death Valley. The eruptions spewed toxic gases into the atmosphere, drastically lowering oxygen levels and causing widespread destruction. Yet despite the devastation on land, marine life was hit hardest. But if you had the option, you might have preferred to be in the water during this time. The oceans would have been your best bet for survival, offering a much-needed escape from the fiery chaos on land. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more fascinating history of Earth's ancient past.